You are now listening to WSN, the Wolf Sports Network.
It's season 3 of Sports Outta Pocket.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. That's a W. How many people want to eat a W tonight?
We bring you the craziest controversies.
We got Tyreek Hill, who's fined $7,000
for not wearing socks. That is the dumbest fine I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Fire me up.
And I have to go at this Braves offense for not doing a thing in October for the second year in a row.
And the return of twin picks.
That's not even in discussion.
I think what you should do is shut up and let the judges speak.
Interviews you don't want to miss.
This is the Philly sports guy, and you're listening to Sports Outta Pocket.
This is former MLB All-Star Justin Masterson.
Sports Outta Pocket is back and better than ever.
Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the greatest musical event of the year. It is Wolf Radio presents Wolfstock 2024. Come enjoy live music, food, games, and more Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 6 to 9 p.m. in the Campus Center Ballroom. And stay tuned for more details. You do not want to miss out on the biggest concert event of the year. Wolfstock 2024 is brought to you by Dine West, Housing and Residence Life, Center for Student Involvement and Inclusion, American Pie Pizzeria, and Illuminated Productions, plus Osier Apparel. Welcome, everybody.
Wolfstock! 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 Yeah!
Wolfstock, baby. Woo! Y'all don't want to miss that, man. All right. Hey, look, we're official now. We got ad reads.
We made it. We made it.
Welcome, everybody, to Sports Outta Pocket. I'm joined here by Chase Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, my man behind the board. We got a great show for you tonight. We're talking about the Wake Forest the Wake Forest situation.
The
where
only
a player
time in
got
history
hurt.
Wake Forest has been relevant.
That's
this past
whoa,
weekend.
It's tough, man. It's
Whoa.
baseball. I mean, they got baseball, right?
They had Chris Paul, Tim
Duncan,
Duncan, John
Tim Duncan.
Collins. They had some good teams.
And then also for our Fire Me Up tonight, we got to talk about what the Falcons are going to do in this offseason matchup. Like, do you think that they should trade up for a quarterback, or should they just do what every Falcons fan probably wants them to do, trade for Justin Fields? We're going to be talking about that later in the night. But with that being said, real quick, how's everybody doing?
It's been a good day, I must say. You know, we got some West Georgia basketball. Y'all listening in, packed the Coliseum tonight.
Yeah.
It's a big
we're ready.
one.
I'm ready to go to that game tonight. It's going to be fun.
I'm ready.
The Triple Threat had a little thing with Cole Fisher.
They did.
No spoilers.
No spoilers
Tune
for
in.
that.
Tune in in March. Tune in.
Shout out to Cole. I heard he was a really good guy.
Really cool guy.
I can't wait to see him ball out tonight. But with that being said, let's get into the show.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
We in here talking about practice.
It's time for the latest sports controversy.
You know, one thing that Sports Outta Pocket is we talk a lot of things that are a lot of controversies in our time that we've done this show. But one thing that's not controversial is how great our show is and how we're going to be represented in New York. I cannot wait for the New York trip we're going for tomorrow.
Yeah. Don't worry, though. We're not going to miss a Sports Outta Pocket episode because we'll be back before next Wednesday.
Absolutely. We're literally going tomorrow. We have an early flight. We're going to be in New York for the weekend. We're up for an award, sports talk show. I think it's sports talk show play-by-play. Is that what it is? Or is it
Best sports talk program.
Best sports talk program. I needed to get that right.
We're going against Gannon University, UC Santa Cruz, Mississippi State.
Who? Don't matter.
Don't matter.
They got nothing.
Sports Outta Pocket at the University of West Georgia. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m.
All right, but hey, just wanted to give that a quick shout out. We appreciate everybody that's helped make this happen.
Yeah.
Everybody that's tuning in, it's all because of y'all. So thank you very much. All right, now let's get into this Wake Forest court storming situation. What do you have to say about it, Chase?
All right. Now, for y'all who don't know me personally, I have a little bit of a lisp, and I cannot pronounce this news name, but I'm going to try my best. But this past Saturday, Duke basketball star Kyle Filipowski.
Nope. Filipowski.
There's
a P in the
That
name.
has nothing to do with your lisp. You just don't know how to pronounce it.
Filipowski. Okay, I got it down. But anyways, he was bumped by Wake Forest fans during the Demon Deacons upset over the Blue Devils this past Saturday. It was a great upset. And as one team does when they upset a top 10 team, as Duke was ranked number 6, they storm the court, you know. We see it in basketball all the time. But just a couple weeks ago, remember women's basketball star Caitlin Clark got hit during Ohio State's court storming. So this is now 2 stars, critical stars, getting injured during court storming events. And now it's raising the question, does the NCAA need to ban court storming? Now I have some thoughts about this. But so did Duke head coach John Shire.
Shire.
No, Shire.
Shire.
Yeah. John Shire.
0 for 2.
He expressed his frustration, especially during the ACC teleconference, when he called for the ACC to implement a ban right now and not wait during the offseason. But there are solutions to this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you see field storming in college football. It's not as big as an issue. It's an open field. Players are in pads anyway, so you don't see a problem there. But in basketball, it's a much smaller space, and as soon as that buzzer sounds, those fans are storming. If you're not off the court, you're getting trampled.
Especially in such a small stadium that Wake Forest has. And you got to understand,
they're a small school.
They were 2,000 students over capacity. They had 2,000 extra people in that stadium, so something bad was bound to happen.
Now, so there are solutions to this. I don't think you have to ban court storming as a whole because it's a fun experience for everyone involved.
We did it personally at a Florida
State football game. But what you need to do, Steven, I'll let you go ahead and finish your thought.
No, it's all good. I just you brought up football. I'm thinking, imagine that Auburn-Alabama game if nobody stormed the field after that game.
Exactly.
It's a part of the game. It's a part of the culture. It's a part of what you want to do as a student. You go to that school when your team pulls off a victory like that. You want to storm the field. You want to celebrate with the team.
It's fun. It makes it more iconic. Before you make your point, here's the solution, ladies and gentlemen. It's simple. Just You need to make sure it is known that you had to wait a little bit, allow the players to get off the court, and then storm the field, and it's no problem, but this might make somebody mad. I think that these stars are getting a little butthurt, and they're being a little, oh, I got a boo-boo.
We saw it with Caitlin Clark.
We saw it with Caitlin Clark. She ran into the fan, and then she wants to blame the fan. Now, if you look at the Kyle's injury, his ankle does get stepped on.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No. Don't tell me it wasn't a little over-exaggerated, because he needed two people to get him off the court, and guess where he's at now? Oh, I'm 100% fine. How are you needing 2 people to get you off the court and now you're fine? You know why? Because he was butthurt that they lost. He wanted to, get somebody in trouble to take his anger out on somebody.
Hold on.
Yes, fix court storming because it can be an issue, but these stars are being a little overdramatic. Yes, I said
Hold on. Let me defend Kyle for a little bit, you Kyle hater. Listen, just calm down a little bit. Now, yes, I see your point. I see your point that I think them losing has a lot to do with the dramatic effect of the event, but even Duke's coach, John Shire, did say, and he did know, that Kyle cannot pivot in the paint with his foot like he was able to, and that's why he's even questionable about tonight's game against Louisville.
Watch him drop 20. Watch him drop 20.
It's Louisville. Well, of course, anyone could drop 20 on
All
the
D1
I got to cut this off because we still have one more thing to talk about controversy before we go into our next segment. Jackson, what do you got?
If anybody hasn't seen this in the news recently, Cam Newton at an event fought off like 3 different guys at once. And he still was dressed like the Wicked Witch of the West and still had his hat on the entire time. I'm not sure what they said to make him mad. I'm not sure what the altercation was. But what are your thoughts on that before we wrap this up?
I don't know. Maybe he should have another a career in the NFL. Maybe not as a quarterback. Maybe he needs to be like a safety.
A lot of former athletes go to boxing, so maybe he should do that.
I'm telling you, Cam Newton still. You know him, a lot of people that have actually met Cam Newton that I know say that him on TV doesn't do him justice. You see him in real life, the man's huge, he's built,
right.
He's like 6'4".
So I'm not messing with Cam Newton at an event.
He spent a number of years in the NFL with a bad offensive line, so he was kind of already used to dodging people like that. So I don't know, man. Maybe he still got it in him. I don't know.
All right. With that being said, let's get a little cash or trash going.
It's Sports Out of Pockets, cash or trash.
All right. If anybody knows me personally, you know that my sport, it's not football, it's not basketball, it is baseball all day. And baseball is back, baby. It is spring training. And one thing that I am very happy about, not exactly about this Braves offense, because we've kind of gotten off to a slow start in spring training. It's spring training. Who cares? But one thing that I am excited about is this pitching staff. Max Fried had a good outing. Spencer Strider had a good outing. Chris Sale, man, 97 miles an hour on the fastball. The slider's looking great. Struck out 4 out of the 6 batters that he's facing. I am actually really excited about this Braves pitching rotation. And here's my cash or trash. Do the Braves, if they're at top level, right, and they get to the point to where like we start the season, do you think the Braves have an opportunity to have the best pitching rotation in baseball?
Oh, I'm going first.
Well, I was allowing you to.
Okay, like you said, I think what makes the Braves pitching staff so notable is that we do have Charlie Morton coming back. We do have an addition of Chris Sale, and like you said, even at his age, his fastball is looking stellar. It's looking like this is youth Chris Sale right now. I feel like we got a steal in the offseason. So with 2 veteran pitchers like that mixed up with Spencer Strider, Max Fried, I can see you make the argument 100%. But then there's other, pitching rotations you got to keep in mind.
Phillies, obviously.
The Dodgers.
The Yankees.
The Dodgers are the one. Like Yamamoto and
Bobby Miller.
And just imagine.
Glasnow, too, the pickup they had too.
I'm aware of this pitching rotation, but at the same time, I don't know, man. I just look at this Braves rotation, like a 1-2-3 punch with Max Fried, Spencer Strider, and Chris Sale. That's tough.
Now,
you have Elder as well.
I'll tell you what it gets me excited for. It gets me excited for the postseason, man, because I think every Braves fan in here, me, you, Chase, we all know what Charlie Morton did for us in the 2021 World Series run, and even the season before in the 2020 NLCS against the Dodgers, though we lost, Charlie Morton was dealing the entire series. And if you get Chris Sale to be another Charlie Morton, rotated with Spencer Strider with his ridiculous fastball, we might actually have a postseason run this year.
I'm actually going to save my continuation of what you're talking about when it comes to the pitching rotation for the lottery.
Sure.
Because there's one pitcher that I'm actually really high on to have a comeback season. They're saying that he's going to make a return for the Braves. Y'all are thinking about it. It's gonna pop in your head.
I'm not saying anything.
But y'all know who I'm talking about. So we'll talk about it in the lottery. But who else got something for cash or trash? Jackson?
Well, I was gonna piggyback off yours. You were talking about Braves' top pitching rotation in the MLB. I mean, I wouldn't sleep on the Yankees rotation. Yes, obviously, when it comes to the
Marcus
playoffs,
Stroman.
Marcus Stroman with the pickup of Marcus Stroman this offseason, amazing pickup. You got Stroman, you got Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez, Carlos Rodon.
Nestor Cortez, I love that guy.
Hey, Carlos Rodon had a little bit of a down year last year, but I feel like he's going to have a resurgence. He's not my lottery pick, but I wouldn't. And with the acquisitions, I know it's not related to rotation wise, but with the acquisition of Juan Soto, don't forget they have Anthony Rizzo, Judge. Guys over there, I mean, I wouldn't sleep on that rotation.
Don't sleep on Anthony Rizzo as a pitcher either, because he struck out Freddie Freeman.
Don't sleep on Charlie Culberson, baby. Charlie Clutch is coming in for the Braves, man.
Saw that. And to answer your question, though, Steven, and Jackson, yours too, they're both cash. They both have great rotations. But one thing I love about the Braves is you know how young Strider is, Fried is, and of course Bryce Elder. Hopefully he can have a little bit of resurgence, a little bit of a pick me up. But you have it mixed with the veteran experience of Charlie Morton and Chris Sale, who both have postseason experience. And with the Braves seeing how we look in the postseason the past several seasons, we need somebody who knows how to go into a tough atmosphere, because we played horrible in Philadelphia back-to-back postseasons, and just calm down and know your stuff. And Chris Sale, his stuff looked amazing. He forced 11 swing and misses, and his 2-inning appearance, like you said, 4 strikeouts. So I think Smith saw your pitch for the Braves today. How did he do?
He gave up 2 bombs.
Gave up 2 bombs. He had 3 earned runs in 2 innings that he pitched.
Good, nice.
So, I mean, dude, the one thing about AJ Smith-Shawver, though, like his fastball was reaching up to 99. Ooh. So he's got a really good fastball. He's got a really good, he's got the curveball, got the slider working. The one thing that he really has to do, though, is he's got to work on that fastball and just not leave it right down the middle of the plate, because that's the thing that's been getting him in trouble. It's giving up the long ball. So it's one of those things to where there's more development that needs to be done with him, but I'm telling you, man, AJ Smith-Shawver, bank on him for being somebody that's going to be huge for our rotation in the future.
Well, I agree. Like you said, once he figures out how to locate his fastball to where he wants it, to where hitters can't get to it, because he is leaving it over the plate a lot, and that's how he gave up these 3 home runs today. But if he locates it better and figures out how to get more control over it, dude, it's going to be like a Strider fastball, man. Like, it's going to be unhittable.
Exactly.
I'm excited, man.
I do have a cash or trash that's not related to the Braves.
Okay.
But the Dodgers are currently 5-0 in spring training. Yamamoto, in his spring debut, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Yes, he is a rookie. Is there a possibility that he could be a top candidate for NL Cy Young?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd say so.
With his stuff, I mean, it's no doubt that he's going to be a threat in this league to be one of the best pitchers. I think right now he's got it's tough because we're just seeing him. I haven't paid a lot of attention to Yamamoto, but from the stuff that I have seen, you're talking about nasty stuff better than Blake Snell's, better than Zach Wheeler type stuff from Yamamoto.
Right. Well,
and that is tough, man.
I was just about to say, on the tape I seen of him, he has just as good stuff as seasoned veterans out here.
Yes.
And even, as a Jackson, I actually do think he is a dark horse for Cy Young. And I told a buddy of mine, actually, just a couple of days ago, we had this conversation, and I told him the same thing. I was like, watch out for him, because we were debating who has a better rotation, the Dodgers or the Braves. I said the Dodgers, because I think it's fair. It's just disgusting. But yeah, I agree. That's a cash, Jackson.
I'll throw in a quick cash or trash in there. This is in honor of sports director Brendan Willoughby Ray and host of Sports Pack, live tomorrow at 6. But and I'm sure this is going to be touched upon in their show because this is his mock draft. He just released his 2.0 mock draft. And in the mock draft, I noticed something that he did in the top 10 that's also been a top discussion recently in the NFL world. J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Is he worth a first-round draft pick? Now, Brendan had the Raiders grabbing him at the 9 hole because, Raiders are in need of quarterback. But I don't understand the hype around J.J. McCarthy. Brendan does.
Brennan's only thing that I've heard when it comes to J.J. McCarthy is because he's younger.
And
he's younger, 20 years old.
He's
You
20.
could possibly develop him. He won a national championship. He's got good stuff, but do you pick him over a Bo Nix of Michael Penix?
No, there's an interesting point. Brendan did say that J.J. McCarthy, in comparison to a Jane Daniels, puts more zip on the deep ball.
No, Michael Penix.
Well, he said Jane Daniels. He said Jane Daniels
too.
Because Jane Daniels has that man's got an arm. He can throw it deep, but he doesn't put as much zip on it as JJ McCarthy does. So therefore, I guess when you're thinking about a pro style quarterback, you do want to see a guy with more accuracy and more pinpoint accuracy rather than just see how far you can throw it. Not saying Jane Daniels doesn't have that, but I guess when you put JJ McCarthy in that equation, it does make a little sense.
I don't know, because the thing is, it depends on what a football team's willing to do. I'm going to go trash on it because I do not think J.J. McCarthy's going to go first round.
Me neither.
What Brendan Willoughby Ray thinks, and shout out to him, got really good knowledge, but just I don't think what he's thinking is what the NFL world is thinking. I think you're going to get Michael Penix, you're going to get Bo Nix probably in the first round over J.J. McCarthy.
Really quick, I'm going to say cash only because I think the Raiders are scared, like Brendan said, of not getting a quarterback. Because you look at the names and free agents, you don't see any of those names headed towards the Raiders. So it looks like drafting might be the only option, and J.J. McCarthy, when it comes to them, might be the best on the board.
I am saying trash for my own one, by the way.
All right, well, we're going to go into a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into the lottery, talk about the Braves pitcher that I was talking about, and also Game of the Week.
What's up, guys? This is Andrew, and you are listening to Sports Out of Pocket.
Walker on first down, it's picked off. What a play!
Only on the Wolf Sports Network.
Just to remember, guys, we are a radio station first, so go make sure to listen to songs we are playing live right now on wolfsportsnetwork.com.
funny little funky Kermit the Frog kind of guy.
You guys should come back next semester.
Yeah, you should definitely listen for the next season because you will be back.
Oh, it makes me so happy.
I can't believe we're back. I'm so excited to be back.
With the first pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select.
This is the lottery.
Okay, so before we went to break in our Cash or Trash segment, I was talking about a Braves pitcher that is hopefully going to come back this season and make an impact in our October chase for a World Series because he's made an impact in the past in the postseason. And Chase, do you know who I'm talking about?
Do you mean the man against the Dodgers who struck out 3 straight to end the 8th inning?
No, not Tyler Matzik.
Oh, that's not what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about a starting pitcher.
A starting
pitcher, somebody that's in the past been a really good postseason acquisition, and he's had some great performances in the past, and he had a really good performance against the Astros. Took a no-hitter in the 5th inning. I'm talking about Ian Anderson coming back, hopefully in the summer. They said he's going to probably be back by July. Coming off of an ACL, it's going to be tough for him to come back. But at the same time, if he's able to make an impact in minor league, they bring him back up in September, get him going, and into the early stages of October. I mean, you could probably put him in the bullpen. You could put him in the starting rotation. But there is a guy that in the past, in 2020, he was a good acquisition. In 2021, really huge in our chase to get the World Series trophy. Ian Anderson coming back in the summer. I'm banking on it. He's going to be a huge acquisition for the Braves to get to another World Series ring.
I like that pick. And I remember sitting there during COVID year watching Ian Anderson make his Braves debut, and I remember how majestic it was. And I was like, man, this is the Braves. The pitching rotation is set because we had Strider, we had Fried. R.I.P. to Mr. Soroka, man. But anyways,
good luck in Chicago.
So I know you told me that you don't bank on Elder, having a resurgence this year. But now that you mentioned that, could Ian Anderson be the guy to step up if Elder can't? And maybe if Elder does have a resurgence, you punt Ian Anderson in the bullpen.
This is the one thing this is the reason I'm not worried about this 5th spot when it comes to Elder. If Elder stinks in the first few, you've got AJ Smith-Shawver ready to take that spot.
Right.
You've got Waskari Noah, who's apparently trying to get some warm-ups in. I mean, you've got Waldrip, the guy that's
Kirsten
our top,
Waldrip.
Kirsten Waldrip, that's willing, that's trying his best to make it to the majors. You've got guys, and also that not even mentioning Darius Vines and the other pitching prospects that we have.
Alan Winans.
There are guys that are ready to take that spot if Bryce Elder isn't able to get back to that first part of the 2023 that we saw so great.
So you're high on everybody but Elder is what I'm hearing.
I'm not high on Elder at all. Just because, dude, that last half of the season, I know that he was an all-star in the first half, but that was just because.
Took a crap, man.
I mean, it's an early pitcher. They didn't catch his stuff, but then once you got enough film on him, once they figure out what pitches he goes to, I mean, he was getting lit up in the second half of the season. There was just nothing he could do. I mean, it was just one of those things to where you feel like, first inning great, second inning great, and then here comes that 3rd inning, couple of runs, 4th inning, couple more runs. I'm not high on Elder. I don't know if I'm ever going to be again.
But can't you blame the coaching too, just a little bit? I mean, we sat back and we saw him took a crap, and they weren't even rotating. They were still letting him go, letting him finish the games and stuff when he was obviously costing the game.
There was a couple of times to where Brian Snitker tried to give him a little bit of leeway because he's an all-star, and I'm fine with that. You want to give him leeway, you want to give your guy a chance, but there was at some points to where it was just you couldn't do it anymore. But also, Chase, what were you about to say?
I was going to say, but it proves important even more that you could argue the Braves having the best pitching rotation in the MLB because of the depth that we have. Because if we have players that we can't bet on, that we don't think are going to step up, the options are unlimited of who we can pick, who we can try out to replace and take that step up. So the Braves, man, up and down, not just the bats, but in the pitching side of things, we are stacked. It's part of the reason I think I'm more comfortable about us making a World Series run this year than I was the past 2 seasons.
Yeah. I am very confident, and not only because our starting rotation's so stacked, but I mean the acquisitions we made in the bullpen this year.
Right.
We have the best bullpen in baseball,
I
don't know if that's
agree.
even it's close. There are Astros have a really good bullpen, but the Braves, they're number 1.
I agree. No, I definitely agree.
Who do you got that you're high on, Christian?
So, let's see, and I know we're going to talk about this more later, but right now, somebody that I am really high on, I'm going to just run the NBA right now. I want to say, we're going to talk about it later, but Bradley Beal. I'm going to say Bradley Beal is going, he's scoring, he's playing like his old self, and I love that. We're going to elaborate on this later, though.
Yeah, we are. We're going to be talking about it's the Thunder and Suns that we're going to be. But as far as for our game of the week, just to give you a little teaser on that one. But yeah, I'm high on him. But I'm also high on. It's not a shocker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy's still like
Kentucky Holland.
That man's literally going to be like a top player for years to come in the NBA, and I'm really high on him. I wish, man, I just wish he was on the Hawks. But Jackson, who you got?
I actually have two people I am high on. So the first one, he is a guy who tore his ACL in spring training last year, and he is now part of an NL Central powerhouse. This team did lose Corbin Burns to the Baltimore Orioles.
Milwaukee?
They have guys like Christian Yelich and William Contreras who had great seasons last year. I'm talking about former Philadelphia Philly first baseman
Rhys
Hoskins. I'm really high on him. The season before he got injured, he averaged like 30 homers and like 90-something RBIs. So I think he is definitely a guy to watch out for in the cleanup spot. And the second guy I am high on, shout out to Jackson Schrader. He kind of got paid a little courtesy.
Oh, gosh.
Timmy Anderson?
Oh,
Tim
gosh.
Anderson. I'm talking about the year before he had that really bad season.
Really bad.
He had
Didn't hit a home run in a year.
He's a former batting title champion.
Listen, I'm with you. Listen, I want you know what? Tim Anderson being good is just good for the game of baseball. Don't get me wrong. Watching him was fun. Do you remember that walk-off home run he had against in the
Field of Dreams?
The Field of Dreams game?
I do.
Like that's Tim Anderson that I want to see in Major League Baseball. It's fun when you have your top players playing at an elite level, but we haven't seen that from Tim Anderson in like almost a year. He had a year where he wasn't able to get a home run.
Well,
it's just
everybody's trashing on that $5 million contract he got. I think it's good for him because he knows he's not going to get paid until he shows signs of his past self. So now the pressure's on him a little bit. He's in a good environment in Miami where Miami can use him a lot. This is a chance to show the world that he can get back to his old form, that this is just a dry spell, but he's still the Tim Anderson we used to love. And if he can show that, expect him to get paid. Miami might use him in the long run.
honestly, the Marlins are actually kind of building a solid infield.
are.
You have
They
Tim
really
Anderson,
are.
you have Berger, you have Jazz Chisholm heading your infield, and
Yep.
also with a pretty great rotation on the top of that, you have Luzardo coming back.
Yeah.
The Marlins, I'm actually kind of high on the Marlins making a run.
Well, when the Marlins, they're kind of known for bringing in players that kind of lost themselves, and they do a good job at rebuilding them back up. The only thing I'm worried about in the Marlins is that pitching. It can't stay healthy, and their pitching is really weak. But maybe their offense can, balance that out a little bit. I see the Marlins maybe being a little bit over 500. Maybe they can sneak in the wild card, but for the long run, they're looking better and better.
Yeah, I'm saying with Tim Anderson's contract, the 1 year, $5 million, this should definitely light a fire under him to do better. I'm seeing like 15 to 18 homers, maybe 70-something RBIs, but it's definitely an improvement from
You know what it reminds
last
me a
season.
lot of? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm not trying to, but it reminds me a lot of the Josh Donaldson deal we had in 2019 when the Braves came. It was a 1 year deal.
And
it was a prove-it deal.
It worked
and
out
it really
in our
worked out
favor.
for him. So it really got Josh Donaldson, and it got him that big contract with the Twins.
It did.
So that's what Tim Anderson's looking to do this year. It's
Right.
a prove-it deal. It's I don't know if the Marlins, if he's going to look at a permanent home for them, but I'm telling you right now, this is a year to tell you, listen, not a lot of people believe you right now, but you go out there, you prove to them why you are who you say you are.
Well, there's no better environment for him to be on to prove himself than Miami. This gives him plenty of room and a lot to work with. And same for Rhys Hoskins, because Rhys Hoskins was a huge postseason threat in the 2021 world, or in the 2021 22 World Series run they had, and that's something Brewers need. They have a solid team, but when it comes to the postseason that we've seen these past couple years, they don't have that man that can just step up and take over for them in the postseason like Rhys Hoskins helped the Phillies do in 2022. So maybe as long as this injury doesn't hold him back a little bit, maybe he can be that guy to step up for the Brewers.
All right, let's talk some basketball.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down.
It's time for the game of the week.
All right, Christian, we were leading it in that last segment, but we were talking about this Sunday. It's the Suns versus the Thunder for our game of the week. Now tell me, who do you think is going to be a big contributor, or what do you think are going to be some performances you see in this game?
It's really tough because you got to talk offense and defense. One person that I'm really going to be looking at is Chet. Going up against a vet of KD, and, if DeAndre Ayton's cleared to play, then DeAndre Ayton as well. Going up against such a physical defender as Ayton and then such a prolific offensive scorer as KD, it's going to be really tough. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the rookie to just stay in the whole Rookie of the Year race with Wemby, who is killing it and crushing it right now. So I do want to see a great game from Chet if I want to just even consider them winning. I mean, let's be honest. Chet and Shea make the whole entire OKC run. But you cannot count out people like Lou Dort, who's a great defender, great on-ball defender. You can't count out Josh Giddey, even though he just beat the allegations. I had to throw my dog a bone. But, it's tough because if I look at it on paper, I say there's no way in the world OKC can win. I mean, you're going up against Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, KD. They can score at all three levels. Great finishing inside from Bradley Beal. He can cut to the basket really well. KD can kill you from anywhere. Let's just be honest. There's not a lot of ways they can win. But Shea, like you said, he's a bad man.
I mean, that's the one thing that OKC is. They're young, they're hungry, they have a lot of great offensive scoring opportunities when it comes to that team. But also, I mean, you look at the Suns, you have KD, you have Devin Booker, you have Bradley Beal, a lot of guys that can just light it up when it comes to offense. But I wanted to ask you, and this is just like one thing that I'm kind of curious about when it comes to this Suns team. What do you think is one thing that's actually missing from the Suns team in order for them to make a really good deep run, to be a championship contender?
Consistency and depth. When you have depth, when you sign stars like that, your bench it's going to suffer. You're not going to have the best players all around. Notice when they had CP3, they had a lot of young stars to be developed and then eventually go and move on to different teams because they couldn't retain them. And then injuries. Let me not talk about injuries. I mean, if KD or Bradley Beal gets injured, it's over,
tough.
Yeah. I mean, it's really tough. Devin Booker's going to have to drop 70 a game to
I think the reason for that, though, and why I like the Thunder a lot more than the Suns is ball movement. Because if you look to the Thunder, yet that whole starting five rotation is really young, but the reason they have 41 wins is they all had that chemistry and they moved the ball so well. Meanwhile, on the Suns, they don't have the depth to do that, so they had to stick with Devin Booker and KD. And it's been nice to see Bradley Beal come back from this injury and be a nice offensive asset for the Suns. But they're missing players like Grayson Allen. Look what he's doing in Milwaukee. He's one of the best three-point shooters. They're missing him a lot. Cameron Payne, too. DeAndre Ayton, Nurkic is fine, but Ayton, man, he fit better with the Suns pieces, and it comes down to depth and ball movement, and the Thunder's just way better at that.
You got to take it from Hawks fans when it comes to having a good bench to be successful.
Please.
I mean, we do not, like when I'm telling you, that's what it takes. It takes a good secondary for you to be successful and to make those deep runs.
Look at the 2021 Hawks run. What did we have then that we don't have now, and that's a much better bench. Well, I don't want to say we don't have a good bench now, but I have a problem with how Quinn Snyder's using our bench. Why is A.J. Griffin not playing?
You lost two, though. You only lost two key players. I mean, you lost John Collins and you lost Herter. I mean, Herter's killing it now.
But again, like that, you want to talk about like having that good bench. How was the reason we won Game 7 against Philadelphia? It was a bench guy. It was Kevin Herter coming off of the bench and doing amazing things.
And remember how good Lou Williams was, that veteran off the bench. And we don't have that veteran. You can say Garrison Matthews, but he's old as dirt. He doesn't touch a court anymore. So we don't have that guy. And like I said, where is A.J. Griffin? How is Kobe Buffkin? Yes, I love
Kobe Buffkin, man.
I love to see the rookie get all his playing time, but how is he getting minutes and not A.J. Griffin? I don't understand.
It was the first time ever I went to one of the Hawks games. I can't remember, but it was the first game I ever saw Kevin Herter light it up. He was just shooting lights out.
Red
I'm like,
Velvet.
who is this guy? I've never heard of him before. I picked him up on fantasy the same day. He had like 30 points by the half. Not 30 fantasy points, not 30 points. If it was 30 points by the half, y'all.
All right, well, now let's switch over into college. Chase, who's your game of the week?
We have a huge matchup in the SEC Saturday night. We got number 4 Tennessee traveling to Mr. Brendan's number 14th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. And the first matchup they had early in the year was very underwhelming. Tennessee actually blew out Alabama, scoring 91 points. And the reason being is Alabama relies a lot on three-point shooting, and when they're not hitting, their game is off. And meanwhile, they got which is why they got killed when they traveled to Tennessee. But something to keep an eye out on Tennessee, and something I've noticed a lot when watching them this year, is they can spread the court wide open. I love the offensive gameplay that they have. They have players moving constantly, which allows them to attack the rim, which they love to do. Zakiya Ziegler. He has court vision like I've never seen before, and he fits so well with the Tennessee offense. And all they need is that player movement to keep Alabama's defense on their toes. And I'm telling you, he's going to find the right man to score. But meanwhile, on Alabama's side, Mark Spears has to have a much better game than he did the last time they played. He's been the guy to step up for Alabama. When he's off, the whole team's off. Jackson, you've been raising your hand since I've been talking. What do you have to say?
Oh, I'm going to let you continue in just a second. I just wanted to say, guess who else blew out Alabama?
Yo, Kentucky.
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 Oh, my God.
Kentucky 95 to 117.
Did they get into
the group chat.
wasn't it like 100 or something? Did they get to the 100
It was
range?
117 to 95.
Yeah, it was
they
crazy.
outscored every NBA team that weekend,
Which
too.
is honestly, listen, I'll give y'all credit for that one because that was actually an insane performance out of Kentucky.
Alabama's defense is a killer. When they don't guard the perimeter well, and they tend to give up a lot of three-point shots. And look at how Clemson beat them on the road earlier in the year. Clemson's a great three-point shooting team, and when you don't guard the outside well, they're going to hit you. And Tennessee can, so that's something to keep an eye out if you're Alabama.
That's just how it is. I mean, when it comes to basketball in general, you gotta batten down the hatches. And what I don't understand about that Alabama team is when you look at any coach and any team should be watching film at the beginning of the week. Where you see where they're lethal from, you should make coaching adjustments. You just shouldn't continue to get killed for 4 quarters throughout a whole game and not make any changes.
Right.
But I was finna throw a straight. I'm not even gonna do that. But I know as Atlanta fans, you guys unfortunately are also used to that. And I'm not throwing a straight at you.
It's a bad defense.
I'm just saying.
I think the whole NBA
appreciate
is
the straight
accustomed to
shot.
this. There's no more defense in the NBA anymore. We did hold the
That is
Magic
true.
to under 100, which is unheard
The
of.
first, listen, the 2 games that Trae Young has not played, and I'm not saying this has anything to do with
I
that.
know where you're going
All
with
I'm
this.
saying is that like the defense from the Hawks in the last 2 games, it's just like.
It's
is there
weird.
energy? Is there something is there an energy? Is it something to prove? Like,
it's
man, we don't have a
not
star
good.
player, but we're still contenders.
He might not be leading. I mean, you just never know. He might not be leading properly. I don't know.
Look how we looked against Utah last night. The amount of turnovers we forced. And Kobe Buffkin, he's a defensive genius. He needs to get more playing time. He was killing it out there. John Collins was getting locked down, which we haven't done a good job guarding power forward, so that was weird. It's just been weird. I don't understand, but I like it.
Nope. Trae Young, take De'Aaron Fox, have him be your lockdown defender, and you'll be.
Watch the Nets drop 145 tomorrow.
Not genuinely. We're going to go to that game, and all of a sudden, we're going to be losing.
Exactly.
Stay
Watch it
tuned for
happen. Watch
content
it
on
happen.
Wolf Sports Network
Watch it
Instagram, by the
happen.
way.
Bring 2 pairs of gear so that you can throw in the Nets gear if it comes to.
I'm
it.
bringing
we gotta-
my Nets hat.
Oh, I'm going all Atlanta. I don't care what the score is.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Nah, we're gonna be decked out in the Hawks gear.
Territory.
All right, but you want to know something? Like we're going to the game tomorrow. By the way, Nets, Hawks. Be sure to tune into the social media. We're going to be taking some
Yep,
videos, and we're up
absolutely.
there.
Heck yeah.
It's a great event.
It is.
But you know what is the best event?
What's that?
In all of Georgia, in all of the United States, in
is
all
it,
of
Steven?
North America,
Tell
it
us.
is Wolfstock.
Okay.
So, are you ready for the hottest concert that ever hit West Georgia to make its return? Wolf
we are.
Radio has got you covered with Wolfstock 2024. Unleash the Wolf from within on Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 6 to 9 p.m. There will be live music. There will be food.
What
there
else?
will be games
Lay it on me.
and more in the Campus Center Ballroom. You're not going to want to miss
there'll
this.
be
I
seating.
promise you. Don't miss out on UWG's own finest performance at the biggest concert of the year. You might even recognize a face or two. I don't know.
Hey,
Dark Soul Thugs, maybe.
Wolfstock, baby.
Will Wolfie be there?
Wolfstock 2024 is brought to you by Dine West, Housing and Residence Life, Center for Student Involvement and Inclusion, American Pie Pizzeria, and Illuminated Productions, plus Osier Apparel. Now, we're going to go into a quick break. When we come back, we got to get fired up about the Falcons and what they should do in the offseason.
What's going on? This is Chase, and you are listening to Sports Out of Pocket.
Let's it go. And
Only on the Wolf Sports Network.
Hey, everybody. Just wanted to remind you that we are a radio station first, so if you're wanting to listen to music, make sure you're going to wolfsportsnetwork.com where you can hear music there. If not, keep tuning into the YouTube stream, and we'll be back real soon. I think Mahomes, Reed, Swift, Kelsey, all of them go into M&T Bank Stadium and get the job done. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC Championship and sending home the Baltimore Ravens.
I want to see the Lions in the Super Bowl, but I think the 49ers are going to overwhelm them.
Sports Pack is back, Mondays and Thursdays at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network.
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. This is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
Fire me up. Okay, so a lot of news, or at least a lot of headlines have come out about the Falcons this past week when it comes to what moves they're going to be making in the offseason. And one, or at least like rumor, that that people think that the Falcons are going to be doing in this offseason is the fact that we might trade up and get Drake May in, like, what is it, the second pick?
It had to be second pick.
The second pick. There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way that, like, it's. If we're in the third pick, we'd have to get Jaden Daniels. But at the same time, okay, so we're going to be trading up and getting the second pick, and we would get Drake May in this draft. Now, me personally, I don't want that. I like Drake May, but at the same time, I've dealt with this before. We got Desmond Ridder. Don't get me wrong, second round, not exactly the talent that Drake May is. Not even close.
What's wrong with Ridder, man?
Yeah, all right.
That's its own segment by itself.
Listen, a whole other entire thing. But Drake May, as great of a talent as he is, He's not proven yet. Not proven in the NFL. What are we kind of quarterback we're going to get? Listen, it doesn't matter how good of a talent you are in college. You're not proven yet until you go into the NFL. You get to the NFL talent, and you're playing at that level you were in college.
Real.
One person that is proven in the NFL level is a Mr. Justin Fields.
Yes.
Now, as Falcons fans know, it's a majority. They want Justin Fields. Make the trade happen. Let's bring him back to Atlanta. And not only that, we need to get a wide receiver. And you said his name earlier. I like Michael Pittman coming to the Falcons. If we can get a contract deal with him.
You know who else you like? Brandon Ayuk.
I love Ayuk, but we have to trade for him too. If we trade for Justin Fields, there's no way we'd get another trade with the 49ers to get that done as well, without giving up everything.
Now, Steven, here's the thing. Very important thing to note about these receivers, because let me tell you right now, the 2024 free agency market when it comes to receivers is loaded.
It is
you got
loaded.
Mike Evans. Now, I don't think Mike Evans would be a Falcon. I'm just throwing his name out
Way
there.
too big of a contract for us.
And it's just he's a lifelong Buccaneer. But you got Michael Pittman Jr. Shoot, if you want to throw the possibility out there, Calvin Ridley is a free agent again.
Curtis Samuel.
You got
Hey, don't forget Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Marquise Brown.
Marquise Brown, though.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis, who's one of the most underappreciated receivers in all the NFL. Now, let me tell you, man.
Stuck in poor Buffalo.
But here's the problem, though. If you want the Falcons to get a big name, big target receiver that we just mentioned on this list, you got to secure the quarterback position. Because here's the thing about Michael Pittman. He's coming off a 100-catch season in 2023. That's the fifth most catches out of any receiver in the NFL. That man is ball hungry. But you can't be ball hungry if Desmond Ritter is throwing you the ball. So here's what the Falcons got to do. Kirk Cousins, love him. He's out the window. Let me tell you why. The Minnesota Vikings and the Viking teammates are showing tremendous interest in keeping Kirk Cousins lifelong for the Vikings as long as he wants to play football.
Well,
Hey. Listen, bud. Justin Fields, man.
He's still mad about Twin Picks. You can tell.
You're right.
I'm bitter. I'm going to be bitter for a long time. That New York trip, don't even talk to me. But anyways, so Justin Fields, obviously he's a dream come true when it comes to these Falcons fans. Seeing him in bright red and black would look unbelievable, but we're not going to get him either. You know why? Because here's what the Falcons are going to do. Falcons are actually going to go off-season heavy on the offensive line. I think that's kind of a given. I think you got a couple offensive linemen out there that's up in the market. You got to secure your quarterback somehow. But why am I talking so much about securing a quarterback? Because we're going to get a youngin. We're going to get a new guy. We're going to get Dallas Turner with the 8th pick. Because we got to get that edge rusher. We got to get
Bo
that
Nix in the second round? What are you thinking?
Where you go? Oh.
He's got me right there. Falcons are
a youngin. He's what, 25 already?
I'm 25. Yeah, exactly. I'm an old guy.
I got you, Steven. That ain't no youngin. Bo Nix is going to be an Atlanta Falcon. And a lot of people throw shade at Bo Nix because of what he did at Auburn. You got to understand. Auburn was on fire, and the coaching staff when Bo Nix was there, and I don't mean the good type of on fire, I mean burning on fire. It was a coaching carousel. Bo Nix didn't feel secure, but once he got under a guy like Dan Lanning, Bo Nix's potential came out. And once
he was a Heisman finalist.
Exactly.
He was a
so once you get, when Bo Nix, he's got the arm, he's got the accuracy, he's performed well in these big games. He's not a turnover machine as opposed to some of these other quarterbacks that you see in the draft. Bo Nix, you get him the right receivers. You get him the right coaching staff, which Atlanta already has. You improve the offensive line. You can. Now, I'm not saying Justin Fields won't be a good pickup, but you don't have to spend the money.
I have a problem with what you're saying, and I want to go back to what you said about Kirk Cousins. Don't be so sold on Kirk Cousins staying in Minnesota, because Justin Herbert is not sold and staying in LA. And there's
that would
a lot.
Be nuts, dude.
There's a lot of rumors about Justin Herbert heading to Minnesota, pairing with Justin Jefferson, which would open the door to Kirk Cousins coming to Atlanta. Hang on. We need that experience. I'm tired of dealing with these young people who aren't turning out. Now, Justin Fields, I believe 100% would turn out, but if we can get a guy like Kirk Cousins, maybe get a receiver like Gabe Davis, Curtis Samuels, Marquise Brown. We already had Drake May, Kyle Pitts.
You're not worried at all about Kirk Cousins coming off of the ACL tear?
I am. That shows tremendous concern. Well, especially if you're going to put him on a team that has no offensive line.
We don't.
He doesn't have. He doesn't have.
We do have an O-line.
No, he doesn't have.
Our O-line's not horrible.
Do you think the O-line better than Minnesota though?
No.
Are at the same level as
He
Minnesota.
Kirk Cousins doesn't have the mobility anymore, and that draws huge concern.
I know y'all were talking about Bo Nix being an old guy. Kirk Cousins is like
an old guy.
35.
I didn't say old guy.
Whoa.
I said
I don't have
He said he like.
I don't have a problem with getting Kirk Cousins. I think it would have fit well. Kirk Cousins with the offensive build around it now. Now his ACL toe no doubt is a concern, which is why I would have much rather have Justin Fields. But if Fields doesn't pan out, Kirk Cousins might be the next best option because I don't see us drafting a quarterback, and here's why. To trade up for a number 2 pick, it would make sense if maybe we got rid of someone like Kyle Pitts, which we can't do anymore because yesterday we released Johnny Smith.
Which is a good thing.
But it seems like getting rid of Kyle Pitts is no longer an option, and that's the only realistic possibility I could see us getting number 2. So getting either Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields seems like the only option now.
Forget about Dallas Turner then. Don't you think that moves like getting rid of Ito Smith is showing that Raheem Morris... Excuse me.
Ito Smith.
Basketball player.
Was like 5
Ish Smith, I'm kidding. Johnny Smith. But anyways.
Shoshi Ohtani.
Anyways, but don't you think it shows that Raheem Morris is in Atlanta with an offensive mindset, ready to get him the guy, to get Kyle Pitts the season that we've all been waiting for?
Kirk Cousins is a...
I just wanted to talk about, because you talking about Raheem Morris. Did you see what he was talking about when it came to the Desmond Ridder stuff? He said that if we had better quarterback play last year, he would not. He was like, I'm probably not standing here right now.
He was true. It's true.
He's talking. He's going straight at. He wants this offense to like perform, and he's making the moves to make it happen.
Should we worry about him still wanting to move Kyle Pitts? Because if you remember, when he came to Atlanta, he was naming the players he's excited to play around, and Kyle Pitts was not one of the names.
People are just overlooking that, dude.
But
it's a conversational
hang
interview.
on,
He just forgot his name.
Buddy, listen, breathe, and listen. It's gonna be okay. Raheem Morris, he's now the king of Atlanta. He says that he wants to give Arthur Blank that well-deserved Lombardi Trophy. He knows what to do. It might not be Justin Fields. It might not be Kirk Cousins. It could be a Bo Nix. It could be a Michael Penix.
It could be a Jimmy Garoppolo.
If you want it to
come,
If you want it to come quick, Arthur Blank might blank on us soon. I mean, let's be honest. If you want it to come quick, you get him the quarterback.
All I gotta say is that like your best option, in my opinion, when it comes to like a quarterback that fits into this system that we're building, it's got to be Justin Fields, man. It's got to be. You have to make it happen. Because the thing is, I got 2 moves for us in the offseason. We have to have the wide receiver too. Because right now it's Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and that's it.
You can re-sign Julio Jones.
You have other receivers.
No, that's not gonna do it. We're not retirement home like St. Louis.
But we need to have like if it's Gabe Davis, fine. I can kind of get with that.
But if
we need a guy that's just at that same level as a Drake London to be that wide receiver, other option that we can have.
I agree.
To throw the football to, and Michael Pittman's that guy.
Or get former first-round pick Marquise Brown. I love Marquise Brown.
Get
him out of Arizona.
If that's what we have to do, if we have to pay the money to get that receiver, it's going to have to happen. To get that offensive, because if we do that, if we get that other wide receiver, if we get Justin Fields here, we get Dallas Turner in the draft, we build up that D-line, I'm telling you, this Falcons team, it's ready for a playoff run.
With the weak NFC South, we are ready to. We can easily win the division, and with the high seed, getting home field playoff advantage if we win the NFC South, we are built for a postseason run. But like you said, it starts with the offense because defense
starts
is set.
with the quarterback.
Defense is fine. D-line might need a little help, but offense, it starts with the offense.
The defense was a little shaky towards the end of the season.
I think it was
last
more
year.
on the D-line. I think it had more to do with the lack of pass rush.
Calais Campbell. Not Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell had to carry the defensive line by himself because Grady Jarrett
got injured
mid-season.
Which made our pass rush even more weak than it already was.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I'm actually excited about this year is that I feel like if we get that Dallas Turner, we get another guy on the D-line, we make a couple of more acquisitions when it comes to the upfront defense, getting pressure on that quarterback. We did a lot better last year when it came to actually getting pressure. And, dude, Jesse Bates, best safety in the NFL.
And
hallelujah,
A.J. Terrell, you've got to step it up, man. A.J. Terrell has not looked good since his rookie season. He has not looked good since his rookie season.
I'm about, like I said, I think a lot of Falcons fans are about done with him. Like, I'm about ready to just, like, you can get sent off somewhere else if you're not going to perform for our team.
When he faces players like Mike Evans, who did he face against us? Chris Olave, he gets cooked out there.
Yes, he
does. He cannot be. Oh my God.
It is annoying. It is very annoying when watching AJ Terrell like on a one-on-one situation. I've seen receivers just blow past the guy, and it's just not even close to where he can actually be a good defender. I just don't know what you can do about it.
He's got to follow pursuit, and he needs to learn how to back off the receivers a little bit. And space in between the receiver and the cornerback is important, so you have room for error. But when you're trying to get on him and press him the entire game, it's going to take a quick Chris Olave route running.
The amount of times that they pan the camera over to Jesse Bates, and he's just sitting there going like, "Bro, I can't do it on my own."
It is Jesse Bates.
So there's a guy in the chat named Lance. He said if Kirk Cousins comes to Atlanta, Kyle Pitts will be one of the best tight ends in the NFL.
Matt Ryan.
He's a good quarterback.
Hang on.
That's the only thing about Kyle Pitts. He needs a good quarterback.
That's the point I was going to make earlier. Kirk Cousins is Matt Ryan from Wish, and we saw how good Kyle Pitts was his rookie season. And who was his quarterback? Who was his quarterback? The veteran Matt Ryan. My point exactly.
He had a guy who knew how to get into his hands.
This is why I'm excited about Raheem Morris's coaching decision, because he got rid of Jonnu Smith. He basically told Kyle Pitts, this is yours.
I'm locked in on you.
I'm locked in on you. You're going to be the guy that I'm going to target them. I'm going to you. I'm going to you for the passing yards that we need. So I'm very excited about that.
We need a quarterback who can run a play action. That will help Kyle Pitts a lot, because that's what the Falcons were so good at in Matt Ryan's last season, Kyle Pitts' rookie year.
Bo Nix.
I don't think, Bo Nix.
I just like Bo Nix, man.
But all right, that'll do it for Sports Out of Pocket, and we will. We're gonna make some videos in New York, so make sure you are tuning into the Wolf Sports Network Instagram for all the videos we have. We're probably gonna, we're gonna video the game tomorrow. We're gonna
get the Nets. We have to.
Probably gonna see some shows. Hopefully,
Ben Simmons.
Hopefully, cross your fingers. We're gonna win that award. That's what we're going for.
On,
the IBS Awards. We're hoping we can take that award
Taking
home for
home
y'all.
the gold, baby.
And also, man, tomorrow 6 to 7, you're gonna be turning into Sports Pack.
Absolutely.
And also, make sure in the future we have Triple Threat coming on real soon next month. But
March is gonna be loaded.
It is. Lots of great stuff happening for the program here. So, with that being said, we were going to see you all next week.